TDP now. This is the India development debate. I'm Sandeep Gurmurthy joining you from our news centre in Mumbai. Joining me in Delhi is my colleague Supriya Srinath. And straight to the big debate tonight. The Modi government is bracing up for its first real test in Parliament. The Telugu Desam party, until yesterday one of the strongest allies of the government, walked out of the NDA even as it moved a no confidence motion against the centre. As things stand, there is no threat to the government, with the numbers clearly stacked in favour of the Treasury side, but there are more than enough reasons for Team Modi to be worried.
Indeed. For one, the development comes at a time when the BJP's strength is dwindling with every bypoll. Also, with the threat from the sulking allies now looking more real, Modi will have to use all his charm to keep the likes of Shiv Sena in the stable. Add to that the sudden bonhomie amongst the opposition parties that appeared to be a cakewalk in 2019 looks like a bumpy ride ahead. The big reset in NDA is the big topic of discussion on the India development debate tonight. And joining us on the show this evening is Mr. Kambapati Ramamohan Rao, spokesperson of the TDP, RP Singh, National Secretary of the BJP, Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson of the Congress, Nirja Chaudhary, political commentator and columnist, and Sanjeev Srivastava, political commentator as well. Thanks each one of you for joining us, and it's only fair that I begin this show with the TDP representative. And sir, I really want to ask you, what is the point of having a no confidence motion when you clearly don't have the numbers in the House? I mean, NDA, even in its existing numbers, despite the fact that 282 may have come down to 274, will have 315, which is well past the halfway mark of 270. What's the rationale of having this no confidence motion to begin with?
See, the problem is made up is when the state is bifurcated. UPA brought the bill, and BJP being an opposition, they supported bill. That's the reason state is bifurcated. Whatever the AP Reorganization Act mentioned, those issues, they are not fulfilled or they are not completed. And then the Prime Minister, whatever the promises made in the floor of the House, that is in Rajya Sabha, those issues also pending. My Chief Minister, all the way, he went 29 times to Delhi, met couple of times the Prime Minister and the Finance Minister, Home Minister and Water Resource Minister, concerned ministries, but issues are still, pending. And special status is concerned, 16 months back, the Finance Minister, he said, may not be special status equivalent to that financial assistance he is supposed to give to Andhra Pradesh. Either he has not given the financial status, nor, financial assistance. So, now you tell me, where 5 crores people, they are very angry with the centre. Whatever the promises made by the centre, they are not fulfilled. We are not asking extraordinary support. Whatever our right, fundamental right of Andhra people is AP Reorganization Act, they have to implement. And the Prime Minister, whatever the promises is made, they have to fulfill. That has not happened. That is the reason first we tried in the Parliament and we brought to government notice. Then the ministers resigned. Then we came out from NDA. There is no option. The government only drive like that.
All right, I get your reasons to perhaps bring about and support a no confidence motion. You're trying to make a political point there. But coming to the Congress party, Adil Singh Boparai, I have to ask you, what is the Congress party trying to prove here by supporting this no confidence motion? You don't have the numbers, you don't have the wherewithal, it's going to fall flat on your face. I mean, why make a mockery of a very important motion in the House? What is the Congress party trying to prove here?
Supriya ji, what you witnessed today is that the NDA is falling like a pack of cards. And the sole reason for that is that the people of this country and the BJP's allies have realized that the Prime Minister and his party has been ruling this country for the past 4 years through deceit. The fact of the matter is the Prime Minister had promised a special package and a special status to the state of Andhra Pradesh. He has gone back on his promise. He has reneged on his promise. And let me assure the people of Andhra Pradesh, one of the first decisions when we come to power next year is going to be granting special status to Andhra Pradesh. The fact of the matter is Mr. Modi has gone back on every promise of his. It's not just Andhra Pradesh. You take the job scenario, you take the agrarian distress, you see the massive corruption scandals which are taking place. Scamsters are rolled out a red carpet enabling them to leave the country. What has the BJP done about it? Look at the SSC scam. Young boys and girls are out in the streets because this government under the so-called Chaukidar is selling jobs. How does the BJP respond to this? So therefore, we support the no confidence motion. It is high time that this government realizes that they cannot ride roughshod over institutions, they cannot ride roughshod over laws and the aspirations of the people of this country.
Okay, fair point indeed. I get your point, but the reality is that a lot of people will today question what is the Congress party's rationale? What are you going to try to prove? Yes, the NDA may be falling like 9 pins, but the fact is that it's not as if you were the fulcrum of any opposition. But let me rest that for the time being. Mr. R.P. Singh, you represent the ruling benches here. You represent the BJP. My question to you is something that amused me for sure. How embarrassing is it for the BJP to face the first no confidence motion in the Modi Sarkar, not by an opposition member, but an ally of yours? TDP was an ally till just a few days back. How embarrassing is it to face that? And what is even worse is that Shiv Sena has still not made its stance clear. It's very, very ambivalent on its own stance now. Isn't it embarrassing for the Treasury benches?
Well, let me bifurcate your question to two parts. One is that the TDP bringing a no confidence motion, another is Shiv Sena. But let's talk about the TDP first. We all know there's a competitive politics going on in Andhra Pradesh, and since YSR, Mr. Jagan Reddy has said that he is going to withdraw his MPs from the parliament. So keeping that in mind, Mr. Chandrababu Naidu didn't want to give any space to anyone else in the state, and he knows that YSR can grab up the space to avoid that. Mr. Naidu has played this card. We all know that it's just purely, sheerly emotional card which he's trying to play. The fact is, whatever was committed on financial package, the central government has committed and has fulfilled all those promises and is prepared to go further to fulfill whatever is required. But as far as special status go, we all know that it's not possible. And my friend, he's a learned lawyer from the Congress, he also knows that he can make commitment here, but as per law, as constitutionally, he is not, they can't implement that because the 14th Finance Commission doesn't give you permission to do so. So, but issue is today, the political game is that they are doing so only for the political objective. Because they are trying to build an emotional political narrative in the state because they know this election which is coming around the corner, and then since it will be difficult for him to, because I remember last time when he went for the election, he lost badly after he was there because of the anti-incumbency and because he was seen as the most forward-looking chief minister of the state, in the country, but he lost badly in the elections. This time he knew that he can't win on the basis of this forward-looking person or a person who can try to deliver on ground, but he is trying to build up an emotional charade around him, and he's trying to build up an emotional pitch, and he thinks that probably because of this pitch he can win election. But people in Andhra can see through this and will answer in a proper reply, and I don't see this as a problem for us. I see this as an opportunity rather, and this is an opportunity which has come to us, and we'll work on this opportunity and then give good results in coming days in Andhra, and make people of Andhra understand.
Okay, let me interrupt you.
Modi ji and the government has given.
Okay, let me interrupt you. Let me get a word in from Neerja Chaudhary. Neerja Chaudhary, how big a deal is this? I mean, you know, at the end of the day, this is the first no confidence motion against the Modi government. You know, the numbers are not going to add up. Even if the Shiv Sena were to support this motion, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, it's also a little bit about prestige. 6 months back, who would have thought that any political party, least of all a former ally, would move a no confidence motion against the Modi government? To that extent, is it significant?
I think who would have thought after the Tripura victory that today we'd be in this kind of a situation. I agree with you, the numbers are stacked in favor of the government. There is no threat to the government even if the no confidence motion is moved. The point is not that. The point is the impression it creates in the country that the allies of the BJP now are finding reservations about it. They are not happy with the way the government has delivered. They are moving away. They are distancing themselves. But even more than that, the invincibility factor around Narendra Modi is what gets dented. And the scene for 2019, which had seemed a shut case, everybody thought that Modi-led NDA would come back to power. Today, it's become an open scene. And that is the damage that Chandrababu Naidu has inflicted. That is the damage that the bipole losses in Phulpur and Gorakhpur have inflicted on the BJP.
Comment on that, Sanjeev Srivastava. The invincibility is what is now being doubted. In some sense, do you believe the BJP is taking its allies for granted? I mean, the Shiv Sena, for example, is still not decided its stance. It's blackmailing the government on whether it's going to support the no confidence motion or not. So, do you believe that the government has taken the allies for its granted, or do you believe its allies have been opportunistic?
I think it's a bit of both. First, they took them for granted, and then the allies have sensed a moment where they find Modi and the NDA government on a relatively weak wicket. So, they are now baying for blood or sensing this opportunism. See, the bottom line remains the allies would have taken all humiliation if they were sure that Modi and company will deliver them another victory. Once they sense that elections are going to be as tough, and perhaps rather than helping them win the election, the Modi government or partnership with the BJP may actually become a liability, they are now trying to move away from that side and trying to create or carve out an independent platform. I think on ET now itself, a couple of days back, before on the eve, I guess, of Phulpur, Gorakhpur results, I had said something which I would like to repeat. The big question really is that we all know that the worst of Rahul is behind him. That day I said whether the best of Modi is behind him is something we don't know. I think today I can say with some certainty that if we extrapolate situation from here today, 16th of March, then the best of Narendra Modi also looks behind him electorally in political terms. His charm, his magic, suddenly all of that looks, a little jaded, a little rusted. And that's the big challenge for BJP, how to recreate and recover that magic, retrieve lost ground, and things look fairly uphill from here on.
Takeaway line for me on the show was that line, but you said that the worst of Rahul Gandhi may be behind us, but is the best of Narendra Modi also behind us? And I think that is perhaps going to set the stage for 2019. Extremely, that's the line I went away with. But I will come to you, Mr. Rao, and at the heart of this entire controversy and the no confidence motion and, the BJP looking seemingly weak and on shaky ground and all of that is really the whole special status debate for Andhra Pradesh. The centre and the BJP members that we've spoken to say that the TDP has led a very mischievous campaign against the central government and demanded special status as a part of political opportunism. You kept quiet for 4 years and suddenly you want to take it all to the fore, the step-by-step divorce and all of that. How are you going to respond? What is your defense to this criticism that is being leveled against you, that the special status is nothing but political opportunism?
How can they say it is a political? It is a mention in the Act. It is mentioned in the AP Reorganization Act. That then the Prime Minister in the floor of the House, he mentioned, whatever the promises made, then the Prime Minister, the present government, they have to implement. When if you don't respect in the Parliament, you tell me Indian democracy, you have to respect, Parliament. So secondly, whatever we are asking or whatever Andhra 5 crores people are expecting, it is, rights. What are the mentioned in the AP Reorganization Act, they have to implement. So, special status, how can they say, you tell me the present Vice President, that time he was in the Rajya Sabha, he demanded 10 years special status. So, how can they say today it is, political agenda? So, it is totally wrong. So, they have to address the issue. It is not a political agenda.
Neerja, just to comment on the point that you were making earlier, and if I were to just elaborate that, political experts also believe that, that this no confidence motion in some sense could be a fulcrum that could unite all the anti-BJP parties. Do you see that happening? Could this set off the composition of this anti-BJP bloc?
Yeah, I think it could be a, it would certainly give an impetus in that direction. Already the regional parties are taking the initiative. K. Chandrasekhar Rao had talked about a People's Third Front. Mamata Banerjee supported it. Sharad Pawar is working behind the scenes. And for, even a party like TDP can gravitate to something like that, which is not led by the Congress. Some of the parties, regional parties, will have problems with any front being led by the Congress. But something supported by the Congress, they may be okay with, even the CPM. So yes, I think it could give an impetus to the formation of some kind of a federal front, regional party front, to take on Narendra Modi, Samajwadi Party, BSP. Now they have tasted victory, and it has shown those bipole victories that the cadre of BSP and the Samajwadi Party can work effectively at the ground level. There was speculation about that, whether that would be possible given the animosity they've had for decades. And of course, much will depend on whether the Samajwadi Party's support can get the BSP candidate for the Rajya Sabha through. There are many, ifs and buts in these processes, but overall what is being sensed is that the BJP is losing ground, and that is not possibly limited to one or two constituencies, that it may be a wider phenomenon. That's what the opposition is now sensing.
Opposition seems to be sensing there could be a window of opportunity there from a time when the BJP was looking completely invincible. Things perhaps could be beginning to change. But Sanjeev Srivastava, a setback in bipoles in Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, UP, Bihar, disgruntled allies, lack of conviction as far as employment, jobs is concerned, and the economic picture not looking really good. Is the road suddenly for the BJP in 2019 looking all bumpy?
Clearly, Supriya, because like all the factors which you just mentioned, they are there. And ultimately, it's all about, boils down to morale. All these things, factors affect the morale. Suddenly you see long faces in the BJP. Suddenly you see the kind of very pensive kind of a look on their faces. And they were so used to making victory signs till a couple of weeks ago. And how the times have changed, how the tide has turned. The bigger thing is that the opposition should now not get overconfident, and the BJP still has time for some kind of course correction. Though all these things are easier said than done, this is all happening in the final year of the government. So very little time to change things, but everybody believes Amit Shah-Modi combination still has some rabbits in their hat. I can't think of which rabbit can they pull out. But the opposition also, this BSP-SP alliance, Mayawati, such a temperamental leader, how will she continue to stay put? I think survival instincts will ensure that. But there are a lot of imponderables in the opposition alliance making. And I think Congress has to somehow get its act together. They can't do such foolish things as putting up their own candidates like they did in this UP bipole round. They have to give and take. In states like Odisha, where Naveen Patnaik's main challenger this time will be BJP, maybe the Congress should explore of having some kind of an alliance there, if they really want a broad pan-national front against the BJP. So lot of ifs and buts remain, but yes, as of today, things look really difficult for BJP, and the opposition can take heart from that.
They can, and you're right about the Congress's strategy. I mean, I haven't been able to put my finger on why they did what they did in UP, but let's get Adil Singh Boparai to respond to that. And Mr. Boparai, where does the Congress figure in all of this? And the first thing that the Congress party will do is do some chest thumping and say, wow, we have a window of opportunity, because that's what your track record has proven. Sure.
What happens now if the SP and BSP insist that they will divide the 80 seats of UP?
Well, so
where is the Congress
you
left?
have to go to the...
I'll come to you, Mr. Boparai.
Can I come in?
No, Mr. Boparai, I have a question for you. Let him just finish.
No, I've said my point.
All right.
What happens now with this kind kicking themselves on their foot? If the SP and BSP decide that they will carve out the entire 80 seats of UP, where is the Congress? What kind of a face will they have?
Exactly my point. By doing what you did in Gorakhpur and Phulpur, where your candidates lost their deposit, you were doing this big dinner diplomacy here and then fielding candidates against the SP, BSP combined in UP. You've ceded ground to regional parties. What is your muscle to today negotiate with either an SP or a BSP? I mean, where does the Congress, figure amidst all of this? Your party chief says Nav Nirman. How long will that Nav Nirman take? And are people willing to be so patient and wait for you?
Supriya ji, the Congress party will play the role of a unifier where we bring all political parties on a common platform. That's point number one. Something of this which you saw in Gujarat. Point number two, I just need to jog your memory to Rajasthan, Ajmer and Alwar. 2 seats which the Congress party won by a huge margin despite an incumbent BJP government. Please take Madhya Pradesh for example. Please take Amritsar for example. So the fact of the matter is the Congress party is growing. Our performance, we've considerably grown post 2014, and today there is a very, very strong anti-Modi sentiment in the country across the length and breadth. And the reasons for this is because there is a huge chasm between the BJP's words and actual delivery. They promised the moon, they haven't been able to deliver anything. They promised 2 crore jobs, the CSO data says that they were only able to create about 4 lakh jobs. So these are the issues, these are the pressing and the burning issues. The BJP will try to deflect and divert attention from the core issues. They would try to, again get the narrative back to a one-man show, because the BJP today has become a one-man show. It's not a political party, it's a one-man show. The entire governmental apparatus of this country today works for the promotion of one man, and this is happening at the cost of 1.3 billion Indians. You take any governmental department, you take foreign policy, everything seems to be to promote one man at the expense of the country. So the Congress party believes in the politics of the people. We want to genuinely become a medium to fulfill the aspirations of the people, whether it is the youth, whether it is the farmers, whether it is the traders. I was meeting traders in Delhi today in the afternoon. There is unprecedented anger amongst them against the BJP. I met students from Delhi University. There are no jobs. The SEC, like I mentioned earlier, the BJP was absolutely, it was because of this media pressure and the pressure from the Congress party that they finally had to succumb to a CBI probe. The BJP believes that it can really push its agenda through autocratic methods. They become arrogant. Look at their spokespersons. RP Singh ji is an exception, but look at the other spokespersons on television. They become so arrogant. So all these factors are adding up, and rest assured, we're coming to power in 2019.
All right, I just hope that over-enthusiasm and overconfidence doesn't get you, because Yogi Adityanath insists that it was overconfidence that cost the party very dearly in Bombay. But I think on that note, we'll take a really quick breather. We are back in a moment. Do stay with us. This is a very, very fascinating debate on how the parliament is functioning, the no confidence motion, its ramifications, and what does this mean both for the opposition as well as the BJP. Welcome back. You with the India Development Debate right here on ET. Now, I'm going to take this question straight to the BJP spokesperson, Mr. RP Singh, who's joining us as well on the debate tonight. And Mr. Singh, in 2004, it was the Vajpayee-Advani mistake of allying with AIADMK in Tamil Nadu that saw UPA gain the numbers to form the government. Are we seeing the same mistake being made by Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah, letting its biggest ally in South India, and that's the TDP, walk out on it, and not just walk out, move a no-confidence motion? And there hasn't been a very visible sign, a visible attempt by either Mr. Modi or Mr. Shah to placate this ally. And, I think the ally wanted to be placated. They first made the ministers resign, then they waited for a few days, then pulled people out, and has now pulled out of the NDA. So they did give some elbow room to be placated. That hasn't been done. Is ally management your big Achilles heel, and do you believe this can cost you very dearly?
Well, let me answer your question like this, that is it the constitution, is this the law of the country important, or is it the coalition, managing the coalition against, even at the cost of the constitution of this country? I remember the earlier Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh said, it's my coalition compulsion. I mean, we are not going by coalition compulsion. We are going by the rule of law, and the rule of law says that you can't give a special status to any other, give a tag of special status. You can give whatever you can provide economically, you can give package, whatever you want to give, and we have done that on record. But only the tag can't be done, and we can't be there competing on the two parties which are trying to work out. They are competing with each other, Mr. YSR and the TDP, because of their political narrative, and they are trying to build a political narrative which is emotional. Let's be clear on this. And I'm sorry to say also, my very dear friend Mr. Shrivastava and Nirja, both, they're very dear friend. They are trying to build up a new set of hypotheses which not hold any ground. I remember when Kejriwal won 67 seats in Delhi, oh, there's a new party which will take country for a ride now. I remember last time when Kejriwal was contesting country, everyone said no. Oh, when he was contesting Lok Sabha election, everyone was pitching for him. Yes, he probably is going to the next reckoning force. And also, when we lost in Bihar, everyone said no, BJP is over. Now they don't know how to play with the arithmetics of the caste, and then they have lost the ground. But we have come back again. I mean, whether it was in Gujarat and whether it was in Tripura or any other part of the country. So this is an ongoing, and it's a politics where we have to work 24 hours and build up narratives and work on that around the clock. It's not that we after whatever we lose, whatever we miss, we sleep on it. We'll work on it and we'll come back on it. And as far Andhra Pradesh and as far TDP goes, I see this as an opportunity for us. My friends will not agree with this today, but wait for time. I'll come back to your show after another 2 years. You will find this was a great opportunity. I mean, although given by TDP, yes, but this will be opportunity for us to go back to people of Andhra Pradesh and tell them what really NDA has done for them and how they are being emotionally blackmailed for the political narrative by the political parties there.
Mr. Singh, I wasn't expecting anything short of that optimism and that confidence from the BJP spokesperson, but I think that leaves a lot to be desired as far as ally management is concerned. But let me just take it back to the commentators, and then I'm going to come back to the politicians. So back to the experts, and Sanjeev Srivastava, the BJP obviously has already peaked in the cow belt and in Gujarat and in Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra. By-poll results suggest it is perhaps going to lose seats in the areas where it has peaked. Beyond Tripura, Odisha, it doesn't look like it will gain seats to make up for the shortfall. Now, in such a circumstance, how judicious it is from the part of the BJP to rub allies in a wrong way instead of really reaching out to them. And whatever Mr. R.P. Singh may say, the reality has been that ally management of this government has been nowhere close to NDA-1. And one of the reasons could be that they are an absolute majority on their own. But even then, have they taken the allies for granted, and does it serve them to not reach out to them?
Well, it is also a question, Supriya, of the style of leadership of Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee vis-a-vis Mr. Narendra Modi. Narendra Modi ran a government in Gujarat for 3 terms in a very dominating manner, to put it mildly. That he was the sole, the king of all that he surveyed. And since he got a majority in the national parliament, and that majority any party could secure after 30 years nearly, that again was something which allowed the BJP to take their allies a little less seriously. And frankly, whatever we may say, even at least I was not expecting such sudden turn of events in the last 2-3 months, how things have really panned out. So you can also concede that maybe the BJP was not also expecting. In fact, on the last day of the parliament budget session, before it was adjourned and it again met, I was told by somebody that Amit Shah actually called and rebuked the TDP MPs rather than trying to placate them who were going to the well of the house. So that is the kind of arrogance, and that is the kind of attitude they had towards their fellow travellers, allies. Now look what Shiv Sena is doing, look what TDP has done. The only thing which I would like to say in favour of BJP is that I will add West Bengal also to that list where you said Tripura and Odisha, where they have a chance. But in cow belt, they have completely peaked. Take any state, they were nearly 100%. So how do you expect that kind of a result? So if one sticks one's neck out, I don't know how much below 200 the BJP is going to get in 2019. That's anybody's guess, whether it will be 150, 160, 65, 70, God knows. But right now it looks very difficult.
All right, right now it looks difficult. Okay, R.P. Singh, very quickly, make your point in 30 seconds because I do want to take this discussion back to you. And let me actually ask you a question. I know you want to retort to Sanjeev Srivastava, but before I go back to Nirja Chaudhary and to Mr.
And I have nothing against BJP, R.P. Singh Saab, you
know
that.
RP Singh, he really has nothing against the BJP. He's putting it out there. But Mr. Singh, Mr. Singh, listen to my question, please. Because thanks to all this political chaos that one has seen, the biggest casualty perhaps has been the second leg of the budget session of Parliament. I mean, how shameful it is that a proposal to spend 24.4 trillion rupees of the taxpayers' money was approved with zero discussion in the Lok Sabha, which is supposed to be the House of the People's representatives. You're supposed to scrutinize laws, you're supposed to deliberate, you're supposed to discuss and not be a rubber stamp.
Well, that TDP and the friends of TDP has to worry about, and then how the objective is that today the discussion, we all know discussion in Parliament on issues which are related to the country, which are very important to the country, are less than building a political narrative through parliamentary discussions is more important. And as for my friend Sanjeev Srivastava, I need to revert you on this small take. Sanjeev, let's place a bet today, and I'll stand by bet for a good dinner with you on that seat of 160, and I'm giving you a word, we'll cross the benchmark again this time.
Okay, you being overly confident there, but you haven't answered my direct question. It's very easy to say that TDP is to be blamed. You have a 315 between yourself and your present allies in the Lok Sabha, and still the House of the People passes the finance bill without a discussion. And let me at this stage also expose the hypocrisy of the political class, because the Congress is involved in this as well. And Mr. Boparai, here's what really happened. And it's important that the people of this country understand what our legislators in Parliament did. The finance bill has retrospectively changed a law on the foreign poll funding. The Delhi High Court found both the BJP and the Congress guilty of violating the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act in 2014. So the government retrospectively changes the law dating back to 42 years. And this gets passed without any discussion, without any debate or dissent. This doesn't even get talked about at all. And this exposes the hypocrisy of the political class, and the Congress party is also party to this hypocrisy, Mr. Boparai.
No, not at all, Supriya-ji. Which party pushed this bill? We wanted a discussion. We were very clear. We want discussion on a host of issues. We wanted discussion on the finance bill. We wanted discussion on the Nirav Modi issue. We wanted discussion on the Rafale scam. We wanted a discussion on the SSC issue. It was the BJP which has been pushing it. And this is not the first time where the BJP has subverted the parliament. We remember how the BJP designated and labeled the Aadhaar bill as a money bill so that the Rajya Sabha could be bypassed. We've seen how ordinances are promulgated by the BJP at the drop of a hat. We've seen how the Election Commission of India and the Information Commission is being subverted. No, you have to see the pattern. The BJP wants to destroy institutions. We wanted a debate. The BJP is running away from a debate because then obvious questions would have been asked from the BJP that how is it that Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi flee all of a sudden days before the lodging of the FIR. Then a question would have been asked from the finance minister that what relationship does he have with Mehul Choksi, because his daughter was given a retainership contract by Mehul Choksi days before the FIR was registered. Then the people of this country would have asked Mr. Modi, why was it that Jatin Mehta?
Mr. Boparai, I'm going to come to Mehul Choksi.
So you have to understand, it's the BJP which is running away from debate. We want discussion.
And you are not disrupting the House. You want all the discussion. You did not open a word. Not one spokesperson of yours came on national television and said that the government had made a retrospective amendment that includes and impacts foreign political funding, because all of you are together in this. You've both been pulled up by the Delhi High Court, and none of you had the honesty to come out and tell people of this country that this change has made and it has quietly gone through, because this serves your purpose as well. But Mr. Rao from the TDP, a lot of blame is coming your way this evening, saying that you were the big disruptor. Do you realize, because of all the unrest that one saw on account of what was happening in the House, the finance bill was passed without a discussion? Have we reduced Indian Parliament to just a rubber stamp? As legislators, we elect you to scrutinize issues, to look at bills, to debate bills that will become laws. Have you lost all of that will, and is Parliament just a mere rubber stamp now?
No, they have to scrutinize, as you rightly mentioned. They have to discuss in the floor of the House. There is a way for that also. So that, see, smoothly running, when Pramod Mahajan was the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, he used to call all the floor leaders. He used to request, this is the issue, this is the public issue. Yes. So there is a way to conduct the House also. There is a way to, coordinate with the political party leaders and in front of the Speaker, and they can find the ways. See, they have to discuss. I am not saying Parliament we should not discuss the issues. We have to discuss. But before that, whatever the issues are pending, the country should know the state is bifurcated. You know, in the floor of the house, they close the doors, and UPA brought the bill. NDA, the now present BJP, they supported the bill. State is bifurcated. The same Parliament should know whatever the promises made, they are not implemented. So they have to support us, and the Government of India has to respond.
Neerja Chaudhary, come in on this. You've heard all sides of the political spectrum on the one issue that I raised, which was the finance bill and how shamefully it was passed in the House. Who takes the blame for this? Is it an adamant opposition, or an arrogant government, or opportunistic allies? I mean, does anybody really care about the finance bill?
I think all of them. And I would say it's not only a rubber stamp, it's become a political akhada. The politics that should be conducted out on the streets, outside of Parliament, is being actually carried out inside Parliament. And politics has become so contentious, so bitter, that, you know, the TDP member talked about Pramod Mahajan, and I remember also Pramod Mahajan saying, okay, you've done your bit, you've made your point, now let's sit down across the table and see how we get back to the House. What is it? Let's come down to what you need and what you want. And then some kind of, you know, dialogue would take place and Parliament would go back to functioning. You know, you've had JPCs being appointed, and you've had sessions washed out, but not really this kind of a very, very contentious and bitter impasses that we are now seeing. And that is the worrying part of it, because people will lose faith in our parliamentary democracy. You know, sometimes I feel that neither the Congress wants a discussion, because they don't want Karti Chidambaram affair to be discussed. The BJP doesn't want the Modi affair and the PNB affair to be discussed. And of course, the I hate to say this, but the regional parties are all playing to their gallery using the floor of Parliament. So it's very unfortunate, but we keep lamenting. I really don't see what is the way out. I would just say one last word on, just respond to RP Singh. I agree with him that the BJP is not going to sit back. Knowing the character of BJP, knowing their hunger for power, they are going to very quickly put correctives in place. I don't know, we're all speculating about what those correctives are going to be. So the opposition, the mood is turning in the country. I think the opposition, as I think Sanjeev said earlier, would do well not to get arrogant, to bury their egos, which is what happens every time the opposition tries to come together, and see the writing on the wall as is appearing. But I think, having said that, the scene has really become open for 2019.
Indeed, it looks like it's anybody's election to win or lose right now. But RP Singh, you represent the Treasury benches, and everybody will agree on one point. It is the government's job to make the House run, and which is why I'm asking you a direct question tonight. Have parliamentarians at large given up their duty to legislate, given up their will to legislate? Are they directing their duty really? Because everyone has a view on MSP outside of Parliament, but no one wants to sit and discuss solutions like an ENAM or removing export bans when prices go up. And I will question the Congress party also on its obsession with Mehul Choksi and Nirav Modi and all of that. But as somebody who represents the Treasury benches, the onus is on you to run the House. And my sense when I go to Parliament is that the government is also very resigned to the fact that the House is not running, and we'll perhaps just adjourn it sine die. I mean, that's almost a given reality. It's almost accepted, and nobody seems to be losing any sleep over it.
Well, this is a very relevant and very important question, and the way which I've been working within the party and we've been understanding within the party is that in Lok Sabha it will be difficult, but yes, in Rajya Sabha, if we can dedicate some given time for 2 days, 3 days, only on certain subjects where every party should come on board, discuss certain relevant issues, like you said about farmers or for youth or any other subject which is relevant, or for other policies of the country, and that should happen. I mean, the Rajya Sabha probably can open up a door for this, where for dedicated 2, 3 days, 4 days, probably that discussion should be on that subject, and which can probably work out a future policy for country on those subjects. And I look out for that from the chairman of the Rajya Sabha, the vice president of the country. Probably if you can look into that, and yes, that will be helping the country in a larger perspective for the policy matters.
Adil Singh Bopar, I come in on this. I know the Congress party's obsession with Mehul Choksi or with Nirav Modi, and rightly so. You've sensed an opportunity. You obviously want to leverage it. But no one in the Congress wants to discuss the real solutions. How do we clean up India's banking system? What is it that will ensure that this kind of a scam is never repeated? What is it that we ensure to be done that banking becomes free from this crony capitalism, political patronage, and all of this? Nobody is talking about how much money have we pumped in both the UPA and the NDA government in public sector banks. And mind you, this is taxpayers' money. I mean, I understand your obsession, but when will parliamentarians sit down and discuss issues of national importance? It can't just be running into the well of the house.
Well, Supriya ji, I disagree with the expression obsession. The fact of the matter is we're seeking justice. More than 40,000 crore rupees of hard-working taxpayers' money has been looted by these scamsters. Now, if you give me 30 seconds, I want to just take your viewers through 3 specific instances. Let's take Jatin Mehta's case. Information was available with the CBI and other agencies sometime in June 2014. Why did they wait for 3 years to lodge an FIR? And in the interregnum, you had this individual who's related to a very powerful business house of this country, who's patronized by none other than the Prime Minister, renounces Indian citizenship and goes to stay in kits. Point number 1. Point number 2, what is the relationship or the equation of Mehul Choksi with Mr. Jaitley? After all, it's a matter of record that he had engaged his daughter as a lawyer. There was a retainership contract, which of course was subsequently returned, but there was a retainership contract. Number 3, how is it that the entire Nirav Modi Choksi family flees the country days before the lodging of the FIR? No. So therefore, it is a legitimate question of this country that who tipped them off, whether it was the PMO or it was the FM.
What is more important? Adil Singh Boparai, according to me,
responded in this.
Yes.
No, please.
Adil Singh Boparai, 1 second.
Can I? No.
Mr. RP Singh, 1 second. Adil Singh Boparai, I don't think it's important to find out who tipped those people. It's equally important to find out how it never happens again. And that answer will be, we'll arrive at a solution only when parliamentarians will sit, discuss, debate, deliberate, set aside the political differences and talk about banking sector reforms. But I'm completely... 1 second. I'm completely running out of time here, and I've got the last 2 minutes on my show.
I'll respond to that. I think both these issues are equally important. If there is criminality, these offenders have to be brought to book.
Who allowed all this to happen? Who used to make a phone?
I'm not discussing the scam here. I am not discussing the scam here. I'm discussing the pathetic state of our Indian Parliament and its functioning right now. It's only fair that I go back to the political commentators here and the politicians, because they will reduce this discussion once again to Nirav Modi versus Karti Chidambaram, and I think it's only fair that I go back to them. Nirja Chaudhary, 53% is the time that Lok Sabha has functioned in this budget session. What about the other key legislations? The Fugitive Economic Offences Bill, the Chit Fund Amendments Bill, all of these legislations are pending, and the Finance Bill had to be passed because it had to be done legally. But when will our MPs introspect?
I don't know the answer to that. Time and again we've held on TV channels outside this debate of where our parliament is headed. And really, it's not only the BJP as the ruling party, it's the Congress. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day which section under which you have the discussion. At least have the discussion on the floor of the House. Bring all these elements in. Let the country know. Let the country know the reasons for the mess in the banking system. Let the country know about the whole Nirav Modi affair. Expose it. Don't just let it drown in din. I don't understand this at all when you say it has to be under this section or nothing else. And I would say also the regional party satraps, they are as much a factor in the smooth running of our parliament. If the regional party MPs, when they speak sometime in the House and go to the well, they're actually telling their leaders out there sitting in the state capital, look how powerfully, how strongly we are presenting our case, whereas that may not be the forum for it. So I think if Parliament has to function smoothly, at least some semblance of functioning, then I think the political class has to really put their heads together whether they really want parliamentary democracy to survive or not.
A very, very valid point to ponder over. But Sanjeev Srivastava, will let you have the last word on the show. Do you fear that the government is not keen to invest its political equity or equity at all in Parliament and would rather focus elsewhere? Is that a sense you also draw?
I'm afraid I'll have to agree to that one, that the government really doesn't seem very interested in running the Parliament or taking that institution seriously. And after blaming them, I'll equally blame the previous UPA government, because I also don't know, like Neerja just said, we really don't know the answer to it. When you have a coalition government, the Parliament doesn't work. When you have a single majority government, the Parliament is still not working. So ultimately, at the end of the day, because there is just so much of bitterness and acrimony, and there is so much of political one-upmanship involved in just about everything. See, how will heavens fall if in the Parliament both Nirav Modi and Karti Chidambaram's cases are discussed? After all, those are discussed every day outside the Parliament in any case. So what, I don't know, why can't they just think straight on these things, that having a discussion in Parliament on these issues will not cause them some great political setback, or, you know, they'll not be in some more difficulty than what they are already in. So I think it's just a question of attitude. Neither of the parties is taking the institution of Parliament seriously, and we have now been talking about this issue for last 10-15 years, ever since the Vajpayee era happened. So very unfortunate.
Indeed, it is unfortunate, and it's time we remind our legislators and legislators who we actually elect year after year, and every 5 years we give them a mandate to sit out there and make laws for us, to not be rubber stamps, to discuss and deliberate, because on their laws lies our destiny. We don't want parliaments not to function. We do want a debate, we want dissent, but we ultimately want the temple of our democracy to thrive, and that will only happen when politicians can set aside their petty politics and petty political differences aside and get together. And the onus really lies both on the government as well as the opposition. Thanks very much to this wonderful panel for being with me, Mr. Sanjeev Srivastava, Ms. Neerja Chaudhary, Mr. Adil Singh Boparai, Mr. Rao, and Mr. R.P. Singh for making this a very, very enriching discussion. Thanks very much for being with us on this edition of the India Development Debate. We take a breather. Back with Top 10 at 10 with Tanya Bharadwaj.